Located in the city of Albany, the LaSalle School dates to 1854 and is a human service agency dedicated to serving at-risk adolescents with the goal of preserving and sustaining positive opportunities for their future. Its programs touch more than 200 young people, and it provides a full array of services for adolescents and their families. However, today an alarming and complex problem has come to our community. It stems from an escalating dropout rate and the troubled path that results. Recently, WMHT Television explored the issue by assembling a community town hall. It hinges on an alarming statistic, and it speaks to the challenges for at-risk youth. The following excerpts will help frame the problem.
Experts say that there are so many young people who are dropping out that we now face a crisis. Tonight we are going to take a look at this problem as part of the American Graduate Let's Make It Happen initiative. One of the consequences of this dropout problem that we're talking about is the high rate at which people are going to prison who have not graduated from high school. Dr. Bill Washburn has some of the statistics on what is known as the school-to-prison pipeline.
Dropouts between the ages of 16 and 24, I'll give you some statistics on the unemployment rate. In general, before I break it into categories, the unemployment rate is 54%. With African Americans between those age ranges, the unemployment rate is 69%. With Asians, it's 57%. With white dropouts, it is 54%, and with Latino Hispanic, it is 47%. But beyond that, and this is why it's referred to as the school-to-prison pipeline, 1 out of 4 African American males on any given day between that age range of 16 and 24 are either incarcerated or are otherwise institutionalized.
LaSalle has had success in making a difference in the lives of young men through their Alternative to Detention program. The program offers daily structure, supervision, and an extraordinary compliance record for youth in the juvenile justice system.
Richard Smith knows firsthand the struggles that our youth at risk are facing and what it's like to be incarcerated as a teen. Here's his story.
I think I dropped out of school much earlier than I did. The actual time that I dropped out was in the 8th grade. But up until the 8th grade, from starting at maybe the 5th grade, I was always pretty much absent. I was the kid who was always nodding off because I had stayed up so late the night before in a chaotic house with a lot of fighting. So by the time that I got to the 8th grade, I already stayed back twice. I got into trouble. Me and a few other young people ended up doing some bad things. We actually burglarized a store. And I just turned 16. I was actually wanted by police. I left school and that was it. I can never forget the moment that I walked into the county jail and I braced myself, tried to posture myself to look tough. And I remember another inmate ran to the window and said, "Hey, that's my boy Rich." And I looked and it was somebody that I knew from my community. At that point, jail lost its ability to intimidate me or frighten me. It was just another rite of passage for us. And I left out of there with a high school diploma and actually probably an associate's degree in how to be a better criminal. And within 3 months, I was reincarcerated. And that led to a number of felony convictions, and the judge sentenced me to a decade in prison. I had been abused physically, mentally, sexually, and it was nothing but a series of experiences of pain. I actually wanted to die, and I did attempt a suicide. The initial counseling that I received gave me the foundation of understanding how all of these things that I had experienced in my past contributed to who I was, and that I wasn't a bad person, and that I was just a really scarred young boy. But in the community that I was reared in, it wasn't safe for me to be that way, and that if I could start to understand that I am not who I became, that maybe I can help other people understand that as well.
Inspired, Richard worked hard to earn his GED. From there, he embraced prison education programs, ultimately graduating with honors from Boston University and later with a master's degree from the University at Albany.
I'm an adjunct instructor at LaSalle School, where I help to develop a youth empowerment program that I facilitate every week with a group of young men from the ages of 12 to 16. And we talk about a variety of issues such as drugs and alcohol, gangs, poverty, family issues. And I really try to take a different approach to these discussions. One of the things that I knew from my experience would have been effective in helping me in advance is for someone to validate the things that I was going through, as opposed to just telling me what I should be doing. Our young people are dealing with a lot of trauma, unaddressed trauma. There is always the possibility for success, despite how troubling the odds seems. The big thing is that you realize that you don't have to do it alone.
And Richard Smith joins us, and it's so good to see you here. And I wonder, what do you take out of all of the things that you've heard? Because did you see yourself in some of these things that people are talking about?
Absolutely. It's one of my quotes that I really am fond of is by Supreme Court Justice Sotomayor, and they asked her, you know, how was she able to overcome all of those obstacles that were put in her past, you know, being a woman of color, growing up in poverty, and then rising to the level that she had risen to. And she said, I was just an ordinary person with extraordinary support. And so when I look at that, even seeing myself and understanding my own experiences, I realized that essentially what's so significant to the development, the healthy development and the self-esteem, development of the self-esteem of individuals is to have a support system, a network of individuals who see their tremendous potential for greatness. One of the things that I'm also fond of is just this notion of the looking glass self, right? The sister talked about self-fulfilling prophecies, right? You see yourself through the eyes of others, the way that they look at you. If I look at you and I see in your eyes that you do not believe that I am capable of accomplishing great things in your classroom, right? Then I will internalize it and it will become a self-fulfilling prophecy that I will live out and it will become a reality in my world.
LaSalle School's Evening Reporting Center operates on weekends and Monday through Fridays from 4 to 8 p.m., helping boys between the ages of 12 and 16 learn and reinforce the critical skills and behaviors required to make solid judgments and choices. For many youth, the Evening Reporting Center offers an effective alternative to detention. Since its creation in 2006 and while participating in its program, 82% of those involved in LaSalle's ERC have complied with court orders, avoided rearrest, and steered clear of additional issues involving the police or juvenile justice system. When compared to the costs and choices facing many juvenile justice officials, the LaSalle School offers tremendous value and is an effective alternative. It is estimated that a one-week placement at the LaSalle School ERC can be offered for approximately 15% of the costs of detention. Put another way, the LaSalle School's Alternative to Detention program and its Evening Reporting Center can serve approximately 50 young people for an entire year, or less than what it costs to place one teenager in higher levels of juvenile justice and institutional care for the same 12-month period. To learn more about the LaSalle School's Evening Reporting Center and its Alternative to Detention program, or to tour its Albany-based campus, please contact Cynthia Gentili at the LaSalle School, or visit us on the web at www.lasalle-school.org. The Evening Reporting Center is operated under a contract with the Albany County Department of Children, Youth, and Families, in conjunction with the Albany County Department of Probation. Additional financial support for the Evening Reporting Center is provided through the generosity of the LaSalle School Foundation. The LaSalle School is grateful to WMHT for the courtesy it has extended and for the permissions to incorporate the content of the American Graduate Town Hall series into this project.